This is the beginning of part 2 of On the Loose, Destination Everest Base Camp with Steve, George, and Ricardo. Let's return to our program and see what progress we've made. So here's the start of our suspension bridge. Let's go across. It looks a little bouncy, in reasonably good condition. Well, I think those folks were just stopping to take some pictures. Well, it's getting a little more bouncy. Now we'll take a quick swing up creek. It's not a suspension bridge, but it is a bridge across a little stream, and look at these poor mules that have to go down this. They're carrying rice, interestingly enough, from China. And once they get across, there's where they're going. Of course, there's also where we're going. Well, I think it's about another hour to lunch. We're passing through yet another small village. There's one of those giant prayer wheels. Now, we've learned that they always have to go clockwise. And I asked Ram, what happens if you make it go counterclockwise? Do you then get bad luck? He said, no, it's not that bad, but you get no luck. So we're entering the national park. Ricardo is hoping to have good luck by touching all the wheels. I think you have to do that.
It purifies my soul.
It does, and if you don't touch all the wheels, then your soul gets somehow screwed. And we're now entering this Green Valley. That's actually the name of the area. This little kind of a Buddha entrance here. These are all friendly Buddhas. And I mentioned that they carry everything and heavy loads. Those, I think, are 4x6s, roughly, or our equivalent. That gentleman is going to carry all of those on his back. We can't stay around to watch him and put it on, but believe me, that's what he's going to do. Well, we've finished our lunch. The weather started to turn. You can see by the prayer flags that it's getting a little windy. We don't know whether we're going to have any rain, but we have packed the rain gear. Yeah, 450, George. So we're now ready for the last 35% of the hike, which is, of course, the hardest. So stay with us as we start the last push into Namche Bazaar, which is where we're going. This is the third of 4 bridges. I didn't show you the second one because how many suspension bridges can you really want to look at? What's noteworthy on this one, of course, is the flags fluttering in the wind. Okay, so I had to get just one wind coming across the suspension bridge to the canyon. Hopefully it's going to blow us uphill. There's what we're looking at in terms of water. Just hoping it's going to get a little worse. Alright, so here's our first challenge of the day. I'd love to tell you, to make it dramatic, that lower suspension bridge, we go across that first, and then you see that gash, we go up that gash, and we go back across the upper suspension bridge. Alas, it's not to be. The lower one is now considered too dangerous. The gash is considered too dangerous. So they have constructed the upper one. Still, when you look at the distance from the upper one down to the canyon, it is a bit of a distance. Alright, we're on the upper bridge. Here we go. Look at those flags. Holding on to my hat.
Hat and poles.
Hat and poles, okay, good. Ma'am took the There's the lower bridge. And as we across, there is the water below. Wouldn't want to fall down there. somewhere up there. So let's continue across the ridge. Stop at Namche Bazaar. Okay, just one more shot. So this is my first stop on our trek up to the hotel. It's a good excuse to catch my breath. What you see below you is the little town of Namche Bazaar, and above it, that mountain whose name I don't know, and Ram's not here, so you're just going to have to accept that it's a pretty tall mountain. Well, it's the morning of day number 3. We were so tired after yesterday's trek that we didn't have a chance to chat with you about what we did, survived, and but we did. And so, George, let me start with you, describing your experiences. First, where did we go to, and where did we end up?
Oh, we had left Lukla and went to Van King, which is where we spent the night, and then we started off on what our guides and porters told us would be the toughest part of the trip. The first half of the day was pretty straightforward, and then we really ran into it, and it was quite steep, and but we finally did make it to Namche Bazaar, and I thought a couple of times along the way that I might not. It was really quite a struggle.
So, Ricardo, we were what? We were about what, 8,500 feet, 9,000, and we ended up at...
Seemed like 15,000. But I thought it was wonderful to go along the river, beautiful flowing river with whitecaps, and which they call the Milk River, and especially going across these fabulous suspension bridges and swaying and cold as you go across the bridge and on the other side.
And you've already seen those scenes in the previous segment, so we're just sort of wrapping up yesterday, which was, were we going to make it to Namche Bazaar? And the answer is, we did, although we were too tired to do anything but eat a small meal and then immediately hit bed.
And we did stay at a very nice hotel last night, and that came, we had kind of upgraded ourselves to get a little bit more creature comforts, and we had an electric blanket, which we never saw when we were on Annapurna trip. So this was really an upscale tea house, and we all slept very well last night, I think.
10 hours, it seemed.
There's no heat in the room, so this, because this is deluxe, that's what you're paying for, is that electric blanket, and it was well worth it. It's also, before some of you are sort of rolling your eyes saying, well, I thought they were going to suffer on this trip. This is probably the last really nice hotel we need. The next ones we expect are going to be a little less substantial.
More primitive is what we say.
Yikes, probably so. So it is the next morning. We are about to take off on a trek up the hill. We hope to go up about 400 meters. No, it's
I don't know. I have a hard time.
There's real high, and not so high. I think we're going real high.
But today we're at 3,200 meters. We're about 11,200. We hope to make it up to 4,000 meters. So 800 meters is our goal that we're trying to make this morning. And once we get up there, we're going to come back down. It's evidently this is the way folks do it now. You go up when you have a day off or a acclimatization day. You go up, just helps you acclimatize, you come back down, and then off you go the next day. So the next little segment you see is we'll be on our trek up the hill. We hope to make it up to a place where we will see just a little peak of Everest for the first time. So on our little day hike, there's where we're going. You can see folks trekking their way up the hill. It's about 400 meter climb and then back down. The theory is you climb up and then you go back down and sleep, and that helps ultimately with you getting adjusted to the altitude. The wind was too strong to record any audio, but I wanted to show you how high we had climbed. We've got a little bit more to go, and then we're going to turn around and head right back down to Namche Bazaar. Well, we made it back to the hotel just in time because it really is snowing. We understand that the weather's going to be better tomorrow. We'll do a wrap-up of our day in just a moment. Well, we've just gotten off the trail, and as you saw in that last little segment, it started to snow, so our timing was good. We had actually expected to go a little higher. It's a good thing that we didn't, because if we did, we would have caught what you just saw. So, George, in terms of the purpose of today's hike?
Today's hike was to increase the number of red corpus cells in our bloodstream. What we were trying to do was to hike high so that we could sleep low. So we went up 400 meters and then descended back to Nepal. And hopefully we'll be fit to take on the rest of the trail.
Well, and hopefully. And Ricardo was almost straight up. How did you do?
It was a struggle, but I had a lot of help. The guys, our Cerberus, they were really helpful. They, keep me going, and I appreciated that. And so we made it, and I'm happy. That's where I'm ready for another day.
Stay with us, because the next segment you see will be on the trail, day number 4.
The highlight.
Of the highlight, yes. So it's we're on the loose. Steve, George, and Ricardo.
See ya.
Well, this is the beginning of day number 5. We are leaving the little town of Nanche Bazar. We are heading toward Tengboche. There's a famous monastery there. We're going to stop and see that monastery. I think there's some nuns somewhere around there as well. Ram?
Fungidada.
Yes, are they in the same trip today?
Fungidada. The lunch place is Fungidada.
All right, and will we see them today? So the storm is obviously cleared out. It's a beautiful, bright blue sky. Day number 5, on the trail again, on the loose. So that was where we were on day 3, and we're up here now on day 5. Better to be here than down there. So there isn't much we can do about this. We're up this high. We have to go all the way down to the river, and then after tea and lunch we go up there to that mountain ridge to Tengboche. I'm hoping for a giant cable car or suspension bridge, but they tell me there's none on the drawing board, so we're just going to have to go down and then back up. We're taking a quick stop at the High Mountain Bakery Cafe. Besides having a good cup of tea, they obviously have a spectacular view of the mountains in this area, in this canyon that we're going through. And they have a very classic Nepali design. Well, we're just finishing lunch with our new best friends from Perth, Australia. We are about to start the last part of our trek, which is over that suspension bridge with the yaks that are coming across. And then we go up that mountain, and although the trail is not hard, it is all up. A series of switchbacks. Once we get to the top, I think that's where the Tengboche monastery is. We'll hopefully be able to stop there, and I'll be able to film a few scenes for you. We're still on the way to Tengboche, and I know that you've seen plenty of pictures already of guys carrying lots of stuff, but I just had to take one more of them. We're on a fairly steep trail, and you can see in the background we're getting fairly high up, and I don't know how much all that stuff weighs, but it's a job I wouldn't want to have. I'm not sure it pays all that well either. So this is the Buddhist monastery at Tengboche. We have reached the top. This is the third such monastery. In just a second you'll hear what happened to the first 2, and then after that we're going to see if the monks will allow us to go inside and take a look.
Monastery buildings were collapsed by the earthquake many years before, and again they rebuilt the new buildings, and again it was collapsed by the fire. This is the very new one buildings.
We've stepped inside the first section.
Not to kiss, please. I love that.
We have some rules.
They had the big area like this for dancing and
Right.
music, everything. The same kind of construction, except this is a lot newer by
Number 9 says,
50 years.
not to kiss, please. I think we're safe there.
Ricardo. God dang, every place we go.
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
Yeah.
Once inside the main prayer room of the monastery, we were told that we could take videos for $60 or stills for free. We chose the latter. This is Ram Kumar, our guide. He described his faith as taking the best from Buddhism and the Hindu gods. As you can see, though, being here was a special experience for him. Well, as George comes striding in, we've reached our lodge, Rivendell Lodge, at Debouché, and the river is just not too far on the other side. We're hopeful when we see smoke, that means a kitchen and even possibly some warmth. We're looking at all sorts of things that the facilities have to offer, so we're going to go inside and avail ourselves of them to end our day, day number 4. It's the beginning of day number 5. We are dressed in everything we have as we prepare to pack to make the trek up to the next station. We didn't sleep this way, but we almost did. We put this on us first, and then we spread this over the top of us. I didn't sleep with the gloves, although sometimes I thought that I might have to. So we're headed down to breakfast. Well, it's not quite as crowded as it was last night, but we still have a number of folks having breakfast, and it's a beautiful day. So beautiful, in fact, that it looks like that we can see Everest. It's not the little peak on the right, but rather it's peeking out. Excuse all the peekings I'm using, but it is peeking out from behind the ridge. Well, as we begin day 5, got to step out of the way of this animal here. As we begin day 5, our little group does have some potential problems. Ricardo only got about 3 hours of sleep last night due to the cold. George has a respiratory problem that seems to be developing in his chest. Ricardo's giving him some drugs as well as Ram, so we're all hopeful that we'll be able to continue on. Alright, we've gone across several bridges, but we're certainly glad that we didn't go across this one, because it obviously didn't make it. There's one cable left. Ram wanted us to use that, just going hand over hand, but we thought better about it and said, let's try further up the canyon and hope that the next bridge we come to is a little more substantial than this one. So here's a little more footage. Glad we weren't on it when it happened. Fortunately, all is not lost. There's the new bridge, and it looks a lot more stable than the old one, so that's where we're going to cross the river. Well, we've been on the trail for about an hour. This is Lower Pangboche. This is a place we're going to stop for tea. All the rocks that you see there form areas where in the spring they're going to plant. They'll grow potatoes and wheat and barley. Anything else besides wheat and barley? That's all, but I guess that's what gets them through the winter. So, welcome to Lower Pangboche. We've left Pangboche. We're on our way to Demboche. These guys are pounding the stones to make them more brick-like. This nation certainly relies on human capital to do a lot of the work that we now take for granted done by machines. That's the end of part 2 on the loose with Steve, George, and Ricardo. Destination, Everest Base Camp. Thanks for watching. If you want to watch part 3, click on the link that you were sent, or go to YouTube. In the search window, put Stephen, S-T-E-P-H-E-N, a space, I-Z-A-N-T, and there you'll find On the Loose, part 3. Again, thanks for watching part 2.